In this video, I wanted to go over the difference or different ways you can represent a set of solution, either with inequality, number line, or interval notation. We've already covered, or you should be familiar with inequality. So for example, let's look at the first one. So the first inequality we have is x is greater than 7. We know we can represent that on a number line the following way. So let's say this is our number line, and 7 was right here. X is greater than 7 would mean all of the numbers greater than 7. So all of the numbers greater than 7 is to the right, so we're going to shade to the right. And then we would ask ourselves, well, is 7 greater than 7? Is 7 a part of this solution set? So is 7 greater than 7? And the answer is no, it's not greater than 7. Right? 7 is not greater than 7. So in that case, we're going to leave an open circle. We can then represent this in interval notation. So with interval notation, the way that we write it is the following. We would write a lower bound, comma, then upper bound. So this is lower, this is upper. So what do I mean? What I mean is, in this set, x is greater than 7. What is the lowest number that is a part of the solution, the set, or the solution gets very, very close to that number? So in this case, 7, right? 7 is the lower bound. What is the largest number? So that would be the upper bound. Well, it's x is greater than 7, so all of the numbers greater than 7, that keeps on going to the right all the way to positive infinity. So positive infinity would be the upper bound. Now then we have to ask ourselves, well, is 7 included in this set? Well, let's see. 7 is, x is greater than 7, and we already established that 7 is not included. So if it's not included, we're going to put a open parentheses like that. On the other hand, infinity, we can never get into infinity, so we're always going to put an open bracket. So this is how interval notation would look like. Lower bound, upper bound, either a closed parentheses or an open parentheses. And we typically don't have that there, but we do need a comma, so this is how you would write it. Now let's go to the next one. X is greater than or equal to negative 2. So let's say negative 2 is here. All of the numbers greater than negative 2 would be to the right of negative 2. So shade to the right. For example, like negative 1 and then 0 and then 1 and 2 and so on, right? Well, let's see. Is negative 2 part of that expression? X is greater than or equal to negative 2? It is, right? So we're going to put a solid circle to indicate that negative 2 is part of the solution. A helpful trick is anytime there's an equal sign, a greater than or less than or equal sign, anytime there's an equal sign, it's always going to be a solid circle. All right, so now what is my lower bound? What is my upper bound? My lower bound in this case would be negative 2, right? That's the smallest possible value, or it gets close to negative 2. In this case, it's negative 2 is part of it. What is the upper bound? It shades to the right all the way to positive infinity, so positive infinity would be the upper bound. And is negative 2 included in this case? It is. That's why we have a solid circle, so we're going to put a closed bracket. So when it's included, we put a closed bracket. And then positive infinity is never included. We can never reach that, so we're going to put an open bracket. And again, there it is. So let's do a couple more. X is less than 10. So 10, let's say 10 is here. All of the numbers less than 10 would be to the left, so we're going to shade to the left. So for example, here's 0, here's negative 1, and so on. Is 10 included in here? No, it's not, because x is less than 10. So we are going to put an open circle. So in interval notation, we've got to look at what is the lower bound, what is the upper bound. So what is the lowest possible value in this case? Well, it shades all the way to negative infinity, so negative infinity would be the lower bound. And then the upper bound, it gets very close to 10, so 10 is the upper bound, but we never get to 10. So the way we would write this is negative infinity is our lower bound, 10 is our upper bound. We can never reach negative infinity or positive infinity, so we're going to put an open bracket. And then we don't include 10 as well, so we're going to put an open bracket. So let's look at the last one. So in this case, x is between negative 1 and positive 5. But in this case, -1 is less than or equal to x is less than 5. So the way we do that is we locate the lower point, which is -1, and the upper point, which is +5. And all the numbers between -1 and +5 is right here. I'm going to shade in between. With the left point, we're including -1 because we have that less than or equal sign. So this is a solid circle. But on the other hand, we're going to put an open circle because we're not including 5. X is less than 5. It does not include 5. So lower bound here would be -1, upper bound would be 5. And then on the left end, this is a closed bracket because we're including -1. And on the right end, we're not including 5. So it's going to be open bracket. All right, so I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know and shoot me an email.